So I imagine you were expecting Zephyrian to respond to you, but nope. This time I am going to be responding to you, traversable. Now, granted, Zephyrian probably will respond to you at some point, but for now I am going to respond to you on what you just did on that hangout, and certainly the lack of. Now, before I begin, I would highly recommend subscribing to Zephyrian. He's a great YouTuber that I've noticed and I've been chatting to for a while now. So here's my fan art of Zephyrian. Now, granted, that's just me. I have a very strange, humorous way of supporting another YouTuber by drawing them in a very weird fashion, but oh well. But nevertheless, I do like Zephyrian and especially his content, so I would highly recommend checking him out. And certainly, he's probably going to like what I have to say that's traversable. You are a cuck-sucking mgtow that doesn't understand that you are more stupid than a pile of rocks at this point. Oh boy, traversable. Every time I look at traversable, he just gets worse and worse and worse, and nothing good comes out of him. The first time I've noticed traversable, he was calling Tyler Preston and a few others pedophiles. And that to me is an extreme offense. The second time I heard about him was when he flagged Baring's little channel a while back ago, all because Baring criticized him on one tiny little thing. The next thing I know, he is allowing this to happen. Here's the clip, and you'll understand why I'm deeply disturbed of this individual.
What do you have?
Yeah. And he hasn't got a home either.
Got no
This
home,
shit
got no
doesn't-
business, got no skills, because he was locked up at the fucking, what, 22? So what does he really have? Fucking nothing!
Nothing. Literally nothing.
Apparently, obviously, MGTOW has no clue what they're talking about.
He probably had to use locks and socks to beat fools off of because he's an evil rapist. You know, in prison, like if you're accused of rape, you gotta be fighting every day.
Yeah.
Oh no, but you know, when we talk about the plight of males and exactly what's going on, it doesn't mean anything because we ain't put a bitch in there, right? MRA.
I put the Terminatrix in the chat for Steve. Right?
Let me just say,
Apparently, we don't know what we're talking about.
if the judge gave me the option, 30 years or death, I'm killing every last one of those motherfuckers. I'm killing the judge. I'm killing the bitch that falsely accused me. I am smoking bitches left and right like John Wick.
Damn.
And I'll take myself
24
out.
left.
Well, you'd be like more like Johnny Rambo.
24 left until my death.
You'd be like
We have
Rambo.
a lot of lives, but I'm
the
cherishing
book
every
version
breath.
of Rambo and shit, because John Wick's like
my
killing
thing is,
assassins.
you know, I actually like how Mortifier is putting this right now because it's for a reason. Some people might say, "Oh, that's too extreme." No, I don't want to hear that. I don't hear that at all. Because the reality is actually the reason
It's
behind
just
it.
25 years, man. It's not that serious.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they're doing. Like, oh, you're a man. Man up. Man up. You can handle it.
Jesus Christ.
When you get out, just
That
go be a
person
servant to the
first to
community.
go.
In
That person
fact,
be the first
they're
to
basically saying when you get out, when you're finally done, then you'll be rehabilitated to be go ahead and remember your role of servitude.
Yeah.
That's what you need to remember. That's really what they're trying to put right into and instill in your head. Servitude.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you remember servitude is what you need to do, right? You need to be servitude. That's
I
it.
saw it
You need to
somewhere.
serve something.
He got falsely accused of rape or murder or whatever the fuck it was. His wife left him, and then when he came out of jail, she fucking wanted some of his payout, his compensation money. Crazy bitches.
I don't think it's when I laugh, it's not. Obviously, I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at what I would do if that were me. I automatically see myself strangling
That's
people.
the thing that I keep wondering. I keep wondering if somebody's going to come at me with some of the things I've said. He gets mad at me sometimes when I'm actually talking about murdering bitches. And yeah, I've thought about that. I mean, well, that was me in private conversations with him. But I was
If there's a
actually dead
legitimate
ass
reason to
serious.
do so, I don't see a problem with it. Like something like
You
that.
sit there and you say you're gonna fuck my life up and make my life miserable, and then all of a sudden now you got all these little ratchet bitches trying to do things like that, knowing that I can't do anything back because I go straight to prison and shit like that. And then everyone sit there and like, oh, gynocentrism. What is gynocentrism? I'm like gynocentrism like this. A threat comes at me and there's nothing I can do. And the moment I do, proxy violence, a white knight simps literally avail upon me in a swarm. So in a
They're
sense,
shining armor.
my life actually has to be miserable. This bitch already knew it. She already knew it. She already knew that, yeah, it's perfectly fucking fine to make my existence fucking miserable. And there's nothing I can do to any threat towards me. I have to just fucking take it. And that's, oh yeah, that's really fine because, you know, man up. Man up. Man up. That's all you got to do. Just man up, dude. You can take all of that. It's perfectly fine. What? No, you'll be cool. Well, dead? No what? You died for a good reason. At least some vagina killed you. Or at least some dude sent after you by a vagina killed you. That's perfectly fine. That's all right. You died on a good cause. Now shut up.
That's a great
die.
cause, man.
That's why when I hear stories of men who men who kill their baby mothers or the kid themselves, I don't really I don't fucking care. I just don't. I used to.
After a while, how
I
can
just
you
when I hear
care?
those stories,
Because they always try to allude to something different. They always try to allude it. Like there was no reason why that guy snapped.
I remember a Tommy Sotomayor video was talking about it, and they're like, "Oh, the baby didn't have to die." I was like, "Yeah, I agree, but I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck." And then they were talking about abortion and shit, and I was like, "What the fuck's the difference?" And I told them, I was like, "The only reason why you guys are caring is because you guys see the value of life after it leaves the vagina, versus it being."
I'll say this: maybe
womb.
the baby didn't have to die, but the bitch that fucked over his life, nah, it was only fair. It was only fair.
And the thing is, it was over. It was like $600. It was only $600 a month. Now I say it was only to him or to some other people. That could be fucking almost 75% of their.
Now the reason why I include a bit more time before and after is to bring out context, and I'll give out the link to the Hangouts and for context as well. Now, I'm totally am against murder, and now granted, it's a possibility that they may be joking about it, but I certainly doubt it, especially with the tone of voice. And I find this to be extremely scary. And this is not the first time Traversable has ever said something or done something extremely questionable. Like, here's a small clip of Tyler Preston, and basically Traversable calling Tyler Preston a pedophile. Here it goes.
A YouTuber by the name of traversable mgtow claims that somehow I support child pornography because of my connection with Amos Yee.
Here's this guy right here, Amos Yes, or whatever his name is, openly supporting child pornography. And one of his favorite viewers just so happens to be Tyler Preston. Tyler Preston was the guy who openly attacked me for saying, yes, there he is. There he is right there. Tyler Preston was a guy that openly attacked me for saying, hey, Immortal, stop running a freaking pedo shop. Now, Tyler's been on this guy, the porn addict, the child porn addict that likes to look at pictures of little boys naked, obviously, or like to support these people. And Tyler's been on there saying all sorts of fricked up things. It's convenient for him. The whole atheist community supported this guy. the whole atheist community was all over this guy. They're like, oh, he's the greatest thing I've ever seen. He understands atheism like no other. But now they are running from him. Now the same guys that supported him is running from him. And there he is, Tyler Preston, the biggest supporter of this porn addict, now running from him. That was everybody's friend, Tyler. Everybody's friend, Tyler. Everybody loves Tyler. And he came into the MGTOW rooms and had a lot to say about, you guys can't tell a mortal he can't have a pedo trap. You guys can't do that, but never understood what we were saying. Never understood what we were saying.
And Tyler Preston also rebels at this point in a later clip.
This video right here is pretty much the biggest guilt by association fallacy I have ever seen. Let me make this perfectly clear. I do not support child pornography whatsoever. Saying that I support child pornography because of the association I have with Amos G is like saying I support doxing because of Devin Tracy and the podcast I done with him. Yes, I do not support doxing. Yes, I do not support child pornography. But guess what? I like to debate ideas, whether I agree with them or not. By the way, I went on Amos' channel many times and actually debated him on child pornography. By the way, you left out a lot of context in regarding that situation. Prior to that video and those tweets, no one had an idea on whether or not Amos supported child pornography or not. Your failed attempt to smear me as a pedophile is not working, as I do not support pedophilia whatsoever.
Then Immortal MGTOW responds to basically traversable MGTOW.
And I can't believe this shit's happening again. Traversable? I'm just going to tell you straight up, your false accusations have made you a disgraceful human being. You're a disgrace. I can't think of any other way to address you. I don't think there is quite possibly any civil response I can offer to this behavior of yours. This is despicable, it's atrocious, and if I were a leader in MGTOW, I would utterly expel you. I would say without hesitation that you would never be welcome back in MGTOW. MGTOW is supposed to be a community of men who are pro-male, who are there to help each other, build one another up. We get enough shit from society. Men have enough on their plate already. They don't need to come to a community where they get even more flack, more shit, accused falsely of things they didn't do. Okay? They already have a tough enough time as it is. And men like you don't need to be on YouTube making it even worse for them. Do I make myself clear? And here's another thing. This is a pointed remark to the MGTOW community in general. Okay, I'm taking an example from the atheist community. When one of their own, AIU, he crossed the line when he made this assertion that doc dropping was okay against people who took issue with what he was saying. Okay, the entire atheist community rallied and made it known that that behavior was not welcome and that they didn't support it. They didn't support the person who was articulating those ideas. Now, I guarantee you, if a woman was on YouTube exhibiting the same behavior that Traversable is, every content maker in MGTOW will be putting out videos, have some strong words for that person, denouncing that person, denouncing that behavior. Why the fuck is this not happening in MGTOW? Every other major community, when someone loses their shit, when someone's behavior goes over the line, they rally together, they call them on it, and they make sure to distance themselves from that person. But they call that person out by name, they make it clear that behavior is unacceptable, and lastly, they make it clear that they have nothing to do, they have no association with that person, and that person is not welcome in their community because they don't articulate ideas that they stand for. Why isn't MGTOW doing this? MGTOW, why are you not doing this? It's only been me and just a few other people that have had the bravery to speak out about this. And I know a lot of men that have come to me and said, I've always wanted to say something about this, but I've been too scared. Fuck that. I'm not scared anymore. I know a few other men who have spoken out against this, but it's time for the community as a whole to say enough is enough. That men like this are not welcome, that this behavior is not to be tolerated, and it is unacceptable, period. Men should not be allowed to call themselves a MGTOW while they simultaneously go around grossly, falsely accusing other men of things that they did not do. And these accusations are life-ruining. And they also trigger witch hunts, because any accusation that involves women or children, and in this case children, they know it triggers people's emotions, that people stop thinking rationally. Instead of saying, hey, wait a minute, an accusation's been made, where's the evidence? They just attack. They pick up torches, they pick up pitchforks, and they say, let's get the fucker. Instead of calmly saying, hey, wait a minute, presumption of innocence. And it's funny because you same guys will talk about how men need to have the presumption of innocence again. Because we don't have it in society. But in your own goddamn community, you can't even abide by the presumption of innocence there.
The reason why I'm showing all these clips is because there's a misconception about Traversable. And Traversable has been trying to push this lie. This lie that he takes care of his own side, that he's better than Angry mgtow, that he's better than the crazies. And yet, he has a very, very bad track record of saying and doing very shitty things. In fact, when he was slandering people by calling them pedophiles, he was doing it for a year, quite literally. In fact, here's another clip of this person that did a good job on exposing Traversable.
The reason I'm making this video is quite simple. The pattern is almost identical to the tactics used in the now infamous Hangout Gate, the subsequent fallout, and the relentless campaign of harassment and intimidation waged against Immortal, Salucci, Alex Brown, Turkman, and myself by Traversable and his friends. So let's just recap what happened. Many persons, including Traversable, Immortal, Shining Light, and Stacey King, took part in a hangout, now known as Hangout Gate. As people do, certain individuals whose channels mostly are no longer active, I might add, decide to play the role of buffoons and share perfectly legal, if extremely distasteful and shocking, images from gore.com, where persons are, I guess, partially or fully naked and in some way, shape or form mutilated. Some people enjoy that kind of stuff. It's not my thing personally. Immortal does not take part in the sharing of any images whatsoever, as admitted by Traversable in a video which I will play for you shortly. After the hangout, Traversable and Shining Light declare Immortal to be involved in a child pornography ring. Where have we heard that kind of nonsense before? Even though they know this to be completely inaccurate and slanderous, Traversable begins spreading this all over YouTube. He then doxes Immortal. Traversable's friends, including Red Pill Gamer and Shining Light, aid and abet in what they know to be completely fallacious accusations made against Immortal. When directly asked for any evidence of illegal acts on the part of Immortal, Traversable and Shining Light have pointed to Hangout Gate, in which by their own admission, no illegal pornography was shared, and any gore.com images were certainly not shared by Immortal. Their main gripe seems to be with the fact that one of Immortal's main hobbies is watching the spectacularly famous manga and anime series Dragon Ball Z, plus his admitted enjoyment of the quite normal sexual practice of consensual bondage with adult women. In a later discussion between these men, in a clip I'm going to be playing for you very, very shortly, Traversable lies that he has never accused Immortal of being a pedophile or drawing pictures of little girls, until Traversable is then faced with evidence of his false accusations, after which he stutters and then resorts to platitudes of, guilt by association. Traversable also clearly fails to grasp the difference between Dragon Ball Z and child pornography. Traversable then goes on to state that BDSM is wrong, quote-unquote, and a mental illness. Traversable states that any man who likes anime must have mental health issues. And here is the clip from the hangout where Traversable is asked repeatedly at point-blank range for any evidence of wrongdoing on the part of Immortal. He cannot produce such evidence, and when asked directly, he concedes that Immortal has actually done nothing wrong whatsoever. Traversable was asked if any illegal images of minors were distributed to anyone whatsoever, which he again responds in a negative, that no images of minors were distributed at all. Traversable was asked how he was able to then label other men pedophiles when he knew they did not share any images of children. He doesn't come up with a satisfactory answer. And Traversable then openly discusses doxing people he has falsely accused.
I have a lot more information that I restrained myself. I restrained myself a lot, and that's what I said if I was going to dox somebody, I have the talents to give out names, addresses, phone numbers. I get pictures. I have those talents in life. I'm a private investigator by trade. I could have took this thing so much farther, and that's what I was saying. But I restrained myself. I kept an etiquette about myself. I think that's what I said.
Okay, but why would you even want to do that to a man at all?
I wouldn't want to do that, and I showed such restraint that I didn't do that, did I?
Okay, well, why would you do that in the first place? Do you have a beef with me or not?
I have a beef with the kind of anime porn that's been sent out there.
Oh, okay. All right. Wait a minute. All right. Now we're...
interject for one moment. Now,
don't interrupt, Turk. There will be an etiquette in there. Do not interrupt.
Okay. You don't have to raise your voice.
All right, traversable. This is a big problem because it seems you're connecting me with anime porn when I have clearly shared no such thing. So where are you getting this?
Where am I getting that? Did you look on your page? Little girls with their dresses pulled up, stuff like that. Is that what you want to put out as a mgtow? Is that what you want every person out there to think mgtow is about?
What are you talking about? I have what you showed on Facebook is my Dragon Ball Z stuff. That's the only real anime I share with people.
May I interject?
Go ahead.
Now, Joe, you seem to not make a great distinction. Now, there's a huge difference between anime and pedophile images. Now, there was no pedophile images in that hangout. There wasn't. You know, anime is not synonymous with pedophilia.
Linkboot disseminated that to the community, and we talked about this earlier. When you disseminate those sort of things to the community, don't you think that there's children watching?
May I add something here before it continues?
Yes.
Okay. Just traversable. I've been meaning to ask you this directly, and now's my chance. You made an accusation claiming that I draw pictures of little girls and beat them, and I want to know where exactly you came up with this, because that is false, and I want to know why you said that.
That you draw pictures of little girls and I beat them? I don't recall saying that.
Well, I have a screenshot of it, and maybe you typed wrongly. I haven't shared it with anybody, but I just wanted to ask about that because you did write it.
You can share that screenshot on here. If you just
if we can see that in context of what we're talking about, the issue is what are the real laws around here? What offends men around here? What I want MGTOW to be seen. Do you want, like I said, do you want MGTOW to be seen as the guys that were fine, respectable, decent human beings with suits, ties, and people we can take this to Congress? Or do you want MGTOW to be seen as a bunch of guys that look at manga porn?
Well, taking this to Congress, that's exactly why the men's rights movement exists.
Yes, that's exactly why the MRM exists, the men's rights movement. We have to present ourselves in a decent way. Do you agree with that?
Hey, traversable. Before we get a little deeper into it, again, you asked for the screenshot. I shared it in the G+ chat. Did you see that?
I'm looking for that right now. Which G+ chat?
Yeah, let me read it out. It says, you said to Adavonoy, who's that guy with the little girly anime avatar.
Okay,
said,
yeah.
He said,
so I'm talking to someone else, not you.
You mentioned me by name. Read the last sentence.
Well, go on and read that.
All right, it's Shining. Do you want to read it?
Okay, it says, Traversable, you said, I don't invite these men in my group for good reason. They are flawed. We've seen what they do and how easy they fall from grace when a woman enters the room. I need strong, honourable men around me, and that, the last time I looked, was my choice. Messenger is a good man, worthy of praise. Immortal draws pics of little girls and beats them. It's sick, and there's a difference in character.
If I could defend him more...
If CS is watching... Was that appropriate? Does anybody think that that's appropriate etiquette?
Was it appropriate for Messenger to reveal personal information about CS? Tell me.
Put out what?
You put out your Facebook page to be seen by the world.
Okay, all right. What we need to get back to again, because we're diverting a little bit, is I'm going to ask you specifically. You have leveled an accusation that I draw pictures of little girls and beat them. I want you to show proof of that, because that's false. Traversable, you know better. I have to say, when I first saw that you wrote that, I was very, very mad, and I want to know why you're lying about this, because that is not true.
Were you in Hangout Gate?
Yes, I was present there.
Yes. Were there pictures, drawn pictures of little girls that were with heads cut off?
I don't really remember all the images because I wasn't there the whole time.
Zeta X shared them a little while ago. There was pictures of images with mutilated body parts that were drawn, that's simply portrayed as art.
Okay, and did I draw those? Did I share them? Because that's the accusation, Traversable. So you are accusing me of drawing those images.
There's complicity here.
No, excuse me. That's not what you're saying. You have accused me of directly drawing those images, correct?
Directly drawing them.
That is what you have accused me of. All right, let's stay on target. You have accused me of drawing images, animated images of little girls. All right, are you standing by this?
That you personally sit down and draw images. I don't know what you do in your personal time, but if you're looking at those books, you are representing your thought process.
All right, looking at what books? What are you talking about?
Of drawn images. Are they drawn images of little girls?
Do you have proof that I look at books of animated little girls?
Yeah, that's why I shared your Facebook page.
No, I have no images of little girls on my Facebook page. What are you talking about? I have one bondage image of a grown woman, and all the other images are of Dragon Ball Z. So what are you talking about? All right, the only thing that I think that I'm still mad about that's left over from all of that was when Messenger Rising posted a comment saying that I shared pictures of mutilated women and dead children. That really pissed me off because that is utterly false. And
let's cut this thing way back and just not put the anime manga up there.
Well, Traversable, so are you getting me confused with Alex Brown? Because you're saying the exact same thing. You're saying Alex shares pictures of women with dresses that you can look up, and now you're saying I'm doing the same thing. Are you sure you're not getting us confused?
You both are pushing the same level. You're both are trying to push that bar.
No.
I'm saying the bar that I have children. So that was John's question there. I have children and concerned. The state which I live in has a certain bar, and that's the bar I live by because it is
things that maybe was not them.
If I'm allowed to call this stuff out and say this is inappropriate for my child to watch, and that's what I do. But I got these people around here that says, no, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to decide what's appropriate for my children to watch, and I'll regulate that for you. And all I'm asking is, mgtow is don't drag us all down.
Okay, I don't think that's what you're saying. You're going after specific men and calling them sick fucks for what they watch or what they do. You're not talking about protecting children. You're going after specific men and accusing them of stuff they're not doing.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that
individuals that it's not false. I'm going after individuals that I think have crossed that bar.
Okay, and why am I one of those people?
Because you crossed the bar.
I think the problem
No. Shining, he is accusing me.
All right.
I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Okay.
All right, how have I crossed the bar? I want to hear it.
How have you crossed the bar?
Yes, tell me.
You're with that manga and your fetish for fetish and your SBMD fetish, your manga, your mental health community. You don't think that's crossing the bar of what's appropriate?
My manga is Dragon Ball Z. Okay, Dragon Ball Z was being aired on Toonami and Cartoon Network. Children could fucking watch Dragon Ball Z. So tell me how Dragon Ball Z crosses a line.
I think the problem is with Turk and Immortal, you've been lumped with that lot. You know, you've been lumped with the with those guys that do those things. Now, I've not been watching what any of you guys have been doing. I've not been watching what's been happening anywhere except for, for a few channels. So you'll excuse me if I'm not up to date with what's going on. But I think the problem is Turkman and Immortal. You're lumped with that lot. You know, ever since whatever Hangout Gate and what's been going on, you've been lumped with that lot. Now that's what I think's happened. That's all.
Yeah, well, that's not fair. That's not fair, then, is it? Why can't we deal in facts and evidence instead of just saying, well, because you're in a place, y'all are guilty of the same thing.
Guilt by association. Guilt by association.
Okay, Jack.
Okay, well, I mean, traversable, is your problem the fact that I am members of BDSM communities on my Google Plus page? Are you saying I need to leave those groups? Those groups are for adults, you know.
I'm saying leave those groups where they are. Don't bring them here.
Okay, I'm not.
You sure did.
What are you talking about?
You aired that on public on your Facebook page.
No.
And you put that. I've seen your YouTube pictures. You put hundreds of BDSM things in there, and those I can't. Somebody had taken a screenshot of that page of yours where you had all your pictures and your YouTube page, and some of that stuff was really lewd. It was really lewd. For you to say that you didn't do that is just, it blows my mind.
I didn't. There's only one bondage image in all of Facebook. The rest are anime.
That was after,
and maybe a few memes.
Yeah, anime for a grown man, really.
What's the problem with that? You're saying a grown
kindergartner? Are you a kindergartner?
No, that's good. No, Turk.
Do you have mental health issues?
Turk, let him talk. Okay, so
do you have mental health issues? Do you have mental health issues?
No.
Are you a kindergartner?
No.
Act like a man.
And so men are not supposed to watch anime, correct?
Right.
Okay, good. I'm glad we have that on record. Thank you for saying that. All right.
And every day of the week, that will be my decision to make for myself.
Okay, that's
I
good.
think you're an immoral person. I think you're an immoral person, and that's the bottom line of it. You brought that stuff to mgtow, and you painted it all over mgtow, and then you deny that it's there.
No, I don't deny that my love of bondage is there. I've made that public. But if you're accusing me of sharing pictures of little girls in sexually suggestive positions, that's a lie, and I am very, very upset that you would accuse me of that. That's really where the anger is coming from.
Now, this BDSM thing, yeah, it's a lot of people enjoy it. There's women that enjoy getting slapped and spanked. I mean, why is that? Consensual. I don't see the issue here. Why is that such a terrible, immoral thing?
What does that have to do with mgtow?
You're insinuating that BDSM's bad, and you're vilifying Immortal because he likes BDSM.
BDSM is a clinically described illness.
That's debatable.
It's debatable by who? I can look at.
Very good.
I'll give you I'll go get you the code if you want the code. Do I need to put the code up there?
What code? I mean, I know it's debated. There have been studies released saying that people who practice BDSM have better mental health. I mean, this is being debated.
That's from the BDSM community.
No,
from the psychiatrist community, it's a fetish and it's coded as an illness.
Okay, I'm telling you, there are other psychiatrists that are arguing contrary to that.
So if you're gonna disseminate that stuff in a private room with all adults, that's okay for you guys to do.
Okay, but see that hangout you keep bringing up, Traversable, was private. It was not being shared live. It was not being broadcast.
I do understand, John, and I respect that. However, it still doesn't, excuse, making light of a situation which was very severe. And also, I find it hypocritical again where you talk, looking after your fellow man and all this stuff, where when you disagree with them or you have a dissenting view on things, then you go on an attack. You've gone on an attack on me, you've gone on an attack on the Immortal, you've gone on an attack on Alex Brown, just because we're simply different. And we we did not share anything. Now, you know, I mean, the allegations of pedophilia is absolutely atrocious. I mean, geez, I just feel betrayed, to be honest with you, as a fellow man.
What did someone call you a paedophile?
I've been called pedophile by, you know, I've had, Joe's made implicit suggestion of pedophilia going on in that hangout gate.
Yeah,
okay, let's talk about implicit suggestion. When I mentioned pedophilia, I mentioned pedophilia in the form of disseminating porn to minors, and that would fall under the category of pedophilia. I never called your name. Doing what you're doing is what's called begging the question, Turk. You're begging the question. You're automatically associating that with yourself, and I've never called you out as a pedophiliac. But what happens in these situations is you start begging the question, and that's what John's talking about. You have to control that impulse to beg the question.
Traversable, when asked directly whether anyone has shared any images of children, stated no. He stated that he had never alleged that Immortal drew pictures of children and beat them, but the screenshots showed Traversable to be a liar. So now, why have we seen, for the best part of a year now, comment after comment, video after video, where Traversable labels Immortal a pedophile, where he labels myself a pedophile defender for the crime of asking him to produce evidence to back up his incredible accusations? He has no evidence, he's simply making it up.
Again, every time I look at Traversable, he just seems to be a very, very unethical human being, and there is no logical response to Traversable. There just isn't. Because he refuses to be in the wrong no matter what, and when cornered, he does admit that he makes things up, but he never admits that he's wrong on anything. And that kind of mindset and attitude, it's not worth a response beyond this point unless if I really truly feel like it. But still, a man like that is willing to call his critics pedophiles, and who is willing to basically false flag a bearing just because he criticized them, and also is willing to allow people in his own hangout just downright talk about killing, and that to me is extremely, extremely questionable. And beyond this point, there really isn't a way to logically argue with the man, because he is downright nuts. And as for SFM, it's just rather disturbing that he in particular has those feelings, and my only advice is that guy needs some therapy help if he's having serious thoughts of just doing that sort of stuff. But my blame is not just on SFM, it's also anybody else on the hangout that didn't call out that shit. Like, if that were to happen in my own hangout, I would call it out immediately. I wouldn't allow that to go on my hangouts. And you know why? It's very simple. It's simple, really. It's because, A, when people start saying they're going to kill people in that fashion, I mean, the moment you don't say anything about it, either tells you are in support of that, or you just don't want to call it out, and in fear of just having that person betraying you later on, which I sincerely doubt he had those feelings of him betraying him, but I am getting the very big vibe that Traversable was in support of that particular point in time in his hangouts. Overall, I just wanted to make the point that he is not a rational human being. He just is not. And no matter what you say and do with him, he will never admit he's in the wrong. Even if you had the entire mgtow community go after him, he's not going to back down. He may backpedal after this. He may delete his entire hangouts, but he just refuses to admit he's wrong, and that's the type of personality that I find to be very dangerous and very scary. And this has been the complete destruction of traversable mgtow. The reason why I say this is because traversable, again, as I pointed out, he's been trying to spread this lie that he's a better mgtow than angry mgtow, but when you actually closely examine what he's done in the past and what he is also in support of now, it just tells me that he's simply put worse than angry mgtow, quite simply worse. So, my message to you, mgtows, this is one thing you should understand. He is the AIU in your own community. Will you at least criticize him? Are you? If you don't, it proves my point that you are not capable of criticizing a rotten apple within your own movement. Now, granted, you are capable of criticizing rotten apples, like you've done it with Angry mgtow, but why is it that you are afraid of calling out traversable? That's my question. For those who were afraid of calling out traversable mgtow back then, why didn't you do it back then? You may have been able to possibly at least sharpen some sense into the man. Now, granted, I don't think he will ever gone more normal, but oh well. This has been the complete destruction of traversable mgtow, and I'm the Forbidden Thinker signing out. And what traversable just did is extremely questionable, and I can't think of a logical response other than pure mockery and just and condemn him for not speaking out against what SFM said. And I also condemn SFM for saying those things on the Hangout, and anybody else that was in that Hangout that didn't call him out. But again, see y'all later in the next video.